Hello and welcome to Dicejesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And we are a merry and whimsical board game podcast where we dive deep into games with curious minds and a jester's grin. We feature 10 by 10 challenges where each season we commit to playing 10 games at least 10 times and sometimes much more. Today, we'll be discussing our plays of Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar, and perhaps there'll be a fourth segment discussing something deeper. Yes.
I love that. Well, before we get into the game and talking about our first impressions on the table and so forth, I wanted to talk about the most exciting part for us, which is the pairing.
Oh, the pairing. I thought you were going to say the backstory.
Well, we'll get into that too, but this will kind of tee off the backstory, so to speak. So this is something we originally did when we started Dicejesters. We pick something like a drink or something to pair the game with. We kind of went astray from that for a little bit, but we're bringing it back. So this time, for Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar,
yes,
I decided, what about the theme could we do to kind of immerse ourselves into this ancient civilization? And I, growing up, I was a big fan of Indiana Jones.
Oh, I know.
And archaeology and all that. I actually studied anthropology in college and studied a lot of archaeology too.
Which is super cool.
Maybe because of my love for Indiana Jones, I don't know. But you've never seen Indiana Jones all the way through.
I saw the one that we watched, and I saw the one with Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
So isn't that like 2? Isn't there 3?
There's 4.
Oh.
Well, I think 5 now, actually. But maybe the most recent one doesn't count for a lot of people.
Okay,
but,
I guess not then.
So we watched Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
And I thought, that isn't enough. So I decided, hey, let's go to Disneyland.
You make it sound...
And we're going to ride the Indiana Jones Temple of the Forbidden Eye ride to really immerse you into the theme just for this game.
Just for this game.
Just
you make it sound so
So what was your experience like watching Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, going to Disneyland to ride Indiana Jones Temple of the Forbidden Eye to get ready to play Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar?
Well, first off, I'm going to ruin the magic. We didn't just go there to ride Indiana Jones. So let me just start with that. Second, that ride was really cool. I did look into its eyes. It's like, don't look into its eyes. Yeah, because anytime a ride says that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to, because it's a ride and I know I'm going to be okay. Unless they have like some actual cursed relic there and they're like, oh, wow, you didn't listen. But
you were impressed.
I was impressed. I was very fascinated with the ball, the boulder thing coming at you. And then we looked it up and it's a rubber ball. So that's super
way
cool.
to ruin the magic for everyone. Is it made of rubber?
It was like 4,000 pounds of rubber or something like that.
Oh, so it is really heavy. So if it
would still hurt.
Over, it wouldn't feel good.
No, it might bounce off you. Maybe. I don't know if it's that kind of rubber. It depends. Fine, I won't continue to ruin the magic. But you can, if you want to quote unquote ruin the magic and or just understand it like I do. They have a behind the scene thing which is super cool, and they show how it's made and everything like that,
which is fascinating.
It is fascinating. It's my favorite part of the ride. But I think that looking at the board and seeing the spinny things, it really does give off that archaeology feel which Indiana Jones does portray.
And there are crystal skulls in the game. Yeah. We didn't watch together Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
I don't know. Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't watch that, but it's cool that the game has crystal skulls.
Yes.
Looking at the board, I feel the archaeology theme. I feel the sense of adventure. I've always wanted to go explore Mayan temples and stuff like that.
Yeah, you want to go to Puma Punka. You're like, those aren't mine.
That's not mine.
But
Puma
still.
Punku. Is within the realm of ancient civilizations and alien technology. Let's be honest.
They can't see, but I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah, we won't talk about aliens with this game though yet.
But you know what? You can make your own board game, and it could have aliens, David.
I know, that's my idea. Is
like
ancient civilizations paired with alien intervention or technology or something would be really cool. Really cool. Because if you're of a similar mindset.
Oh my gosh. So anyway. Go on with the game. So yeah, I would say the pairing works well.
Awesome. It got you into the
I'm into the mindset. Yeah.
So Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar, why did I pick it to feature as a 10 by 10 challenge game for Dicejesters? This game has been around since 2012. All right. So I got into the hobby about 2013, and I remember this game was like the pinnacle of heavy Euro games. It was kind of esteemed as this really complex, super intense game with this really novel, innovative mechanism of physically moving parts on the board. And that was, at the time, that was pretty earth-shattering.
Yeah.
So I heard this game talked about a lot. I never played it until, I don't know, maybe like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. Picked it up, only played it once. So I have only played Tzolk'in one time. And I thought it was really cool, but it's just the nature of what I've talked about before. I would get games and only play them like once or twice with people, move on to the next thing. But this game has always stuck around. So for that reason, I wanted us to have a chance to dive into it, to appreciate, because I think that there are some cool aspects about this design that stand out to me only having played it one time that I want to get more into. And then the second reason is each season of Dice Jesters, I kind of like, if I can, to focus on highlighting certain designers. Like we've done a lot of Stefan Feld games, Uwe Rosenberg games. So Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar is designed by Simone Luciani and Daniele Tascini. And they're kind of part of this design group where you see these names come up in different combinations and so forth. So this season, I plan to highlight some of Simone Luciani's games. I won't say which ones, but there may be multiple. And so you may see some different combinations of designers. And I thought this would be a good place to start because it is, out of the games that I have in our collection, the earliest title of his that I have. So thought we would start there. And we've actually played one other game of theirs before, of this design duo. You'll remember The Voyages of Marco Polo.
Oh, I like that game.
I loved it too. And so that's another reason why I've been wanting to come back to Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. So this is the perfect timing. The time is now. So just a little bit of background information about the game too. So it came out in 2012, which was the prophetic end of the Mayan calendar. The year 2012 was supposed to be the apocalypse. So it was fitting that this game design came out in 2012. I've always been fascinated by the design. When you just look at it at the table, I'd be curious to hear your first impressions. But even today, this is set up on the table and I was showing you, like, look how the gears move and stuff like that. It still is a pretty novel concept. But the iconography, just looking at it, is pretty simple. I've reread through the rule book. I'm thinking by today's standards, this game is not that complex. So it's been interesting to see how games have evolved to the point of having so many layers of complexity. This game doesn't seem complex, but it seems deep in terms of the level of planning the strategy that is required to do well. But not knowing anything about the game, what are your thoughts just looking at it on the table?
I like the spinning. Is that like the calendar? It does it kind of like tick down time?
Yes,
or
exactly.
Are you like going to 2012 and it's like dun dun dun? You're ticking down time doom. Is that what is going on?
I don't know if it spells that out, but
and that
the countdown to the end of civilization,
the end of the calendar. And then I like the crystal skulls. I think they look pretty cool because I was wondering what these were, and I was just like, oh, these are cool looking, whatever they may be. That'd be cool to have like a game about rocks. You're like, oh my god, you're derailing. I'm like, okay, sorry. I like the artwork overall because it has that really like architecture, kind of like what you were saying, the archaeology feel, and I love games like that. So we had played a game,
like historically based games.
I love historically based games, yeah. But I also love like just archaeology feeling games like Arnak.
Oh, true.
You felt like an archaeology. Yeah, adventure. I love adventure. Like, even, coming back, I was just like, I want to go on an adventure. You're like, we already were on an adventure. And I'm like, different adventure. So there's that. And yeah, I don't know. I think when you explain it to me, it'll make more sense. Right now, I'm just kind of like soaking it all in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll be pretty easy to explain, just, again, having read through the rules a couple times before playing it. So I think before having played it, what kind of stands out to me about the game, looking at it through the lens of the time it came out, worker placement. So the game is a worker placement game, but the core resource in the game, there's corn. Corn is like the form of food where you have to pay your workers and stuff. So it has that aspect, but time is a resource in the game. Ooh. So the main idea is that you're either placing workers on the board or you're taking them back. And other worker placement games prior to this one would have that instant reward. Like think Agricola. So Agricola came out like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. You place a worker, you get your wood, you get your stone, whatever, immediately. In this game, you place a worker out, you have to pay for the workers that you place out, but you don't get a benefit right away. You're going to wait until you pull those workers back, and then you get the benefit of wherever they're at. And the longer you keep them out on the board, the further they're going to tick along the gear, and the better reward you're going to get. So you have to kind of balance, when do I want to pull those back? Because you need work on your turn. You have to either place workers or take workers back. You can't just do nothing. So it forces you to have to plan many steps ahead to think where your workers will be at that point in time, what you need, when you're going to pull them back, what you can afford to pay, and like all this stuff. So I think that for the time, this is a pretty earth-shattering game in terms of how it makes you think. Again, it's not instant reward, it's long-term planning, but still kind of has that classic Euro feel of resource management, resource conversion, getting the victory points, and having to feed your workers. That's pretty common, but the way it does it is really interesting. So I'll be curious for us to play this one and see what our thoughts are. But before we do that, a few items to get through to make sure we're fully ready mentally. The first, I know you're dying to know the backstory that this game came with, right?
Right.
I know you wouldn't stop talking about it before. I was like, hold on, like wait till we're recording, and then I can tell it to you.
I feel like at this point people know you're joking, but I'm definitely not doing that.
And I had to look for it. It's actually on the back of the box, so that tells you something.
I don't know what that's supposed to tell you. What does that tell me? Oh, it tells me that you could read the backstory before even purchasing the game. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here we go. The Maya was a highly developed civilization known for its unique art, complex architecture, sophisticated mathematics, and advanced knowledge of the visible universe. At the heart of their society was the mysterious Tzolk'in, a 260-day calendar that used the movement of the planets to predict the right time to plant seeds, perform ceremonies, and build monuments. Will you become one of the Aja, the leaders of the Mayan tribes, worshipping the gods and leading your civilization to prosperity? The center of the game is the Tzolk'in calendar, a set of gears that rotate through the rounds of the game. Your planning will need to account for a continually changing game board. Harvest crops, extract resources, build monuments, and beware the wrath of the gods. Because in this game, you can actually anger the gods if you do certain things.
I'm laughing because I feel that in my soul.
So did that further your thirst for adventure, your fascination?
Yes, and what will complete the thirst, I guess, is knowing how starting player is chosen. Is it me? Is it like who's been on an adventure last?
Who has last been on an Indiana Jones ride?
That's so specific. Who's been in the jungle last?
So are you ready for this? I have a feeling
it would be me.
I have a feeling you're going to have something interesting to say about this. Give the starting player marker to the player who most recently sacrificed something.
I sacrificed my Achilles ankles to you.
You were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. It was going to be something like physical pain. So
I did.
At Disneyland, I wanted
to
push through. I love riding rides. And
yeah, I know you do.
Especially the end of the night, because the crowds really wind down. You can kind of go from ride to ride. Mm-hmm. And our first day, we got there for rope drop.
Yeah.
If you want to hear about that experience, you can go back to our season 5 update before we started releasing this. Talk about a rope drop experience. It was like glorified Black Friday, rushing the crowds to get to Space Mountain right when it opened.
Okay.
We even got to the security gate.
I think we're talking about the sacrifice.
Yeah. So imagine going through all that. We go through a whole day of walking close to 40,000 steps.
It was 40,000 steps.
And you were in so much pain, you had to go to their first aid center.
Yes.
Ask for some stuff.
So that you can
continue on. And all of that to give me the experience of being able to go on all these rides in one day, which was intense. But I would say you are the last person of us to sacrifice something. So congratulations. You'll be the starting player for the first game that I explained to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, why don't we go play it?
Yes.
We're going to come back, talk about what our learning round was like.
Of course. And we are back after our first play, well, my first play, your second play technically, of Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. And yeah, I feel like all my first plays are usually like, yeah. You know, I never truly know until I play it again. That's why it kind of like mesmerizes me that when people play it only one time and then they like rate it, I'm just like, how?
This is a 10
How can you rate it? Yeah, I'm like, how is
Best
that possible?
game I've ever played.
Because for this one, when we first started doing the action turns, or did you want to explain it? I don't know.
Ooh, do you want me to take the honors on this one, or?
At its core, it's just like a worker placement game. You place your worker on a circle, and then the circle moves. So as long as you know how the circle moves, you can count how many turns it'll take to get to said action.
I mean, if you don't see the board in front of you, it might be difficult.
Well, there's a circle that's attached to other circles. One might call them gears. And, you know, if you know how a gear moves, you move one of the gears and all the gears move. So there's a middle gear that moves after everybody takes their turn. And when that moves, all of your workers that you placed on the outside gears move one notch. So there's different choices. There's about like 5 to 7 choices on each. Around there, yeah. But you have to start at the lowest choice that's available. So if you start at the lowest, the notch turns, you move to the next step. So then you just kind of have to map out how you want to lay your workers out so that they can move to whatever it is that you're trying to get, unless you're trying to get the first one, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's about like timing and patience and just kind of how you're going to strategize to do that, because nobody can move your worker unless they decide to move the thing twice, but they have to pick the certain spot to do that, and they only get to do that once, so you don't have to worry about it the whole game. So yeah, that's at its core, that's what it is.
Yeah, worker placement game with a twist. Get it? Because the board
twist.
Spins,
Yeah.
it turns.
Yeah,
and I like, so there's like you said, 5 different gears. And then each gear does something a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Like you get different kinds of resources, whether it's corn or wood or stone or gold, crystal skulls. There's a technology track that gives you ongoing abilities, and you can move up those, cost you resources. And then there are these temple tracks that give you resources or points at the end of each feeding round. And then whoever is highest up on those tracks gets points as well. So those are the kind of the main ways to get points, is through the temple tracks. And then, there's also buildings and monuments. The buildings give you one-time abilities, or they let you not have to feed workers during the feeding turns.
Which is nice.
And the monuments just give you end-of-game scoring.
Yes.
And then there's some other, I think maybe a couple other ways to get points in there. But that's kind of the main thing that you're doing. But I think what stands out to me, I know I kind of explained it at the beginning, but the fact on your turn that you have to do one of those two things, either placing workers or taking them back. You can't just do nothing on your turn. But you don't have to place all of your workers, but the more you place, it's going to cost you more. So it's like this balance of trying to maximize your turn, but not spending more than you need to, letting your workers stay out on the gears longer, but not too long, because you want just the right bonus. You might overshoot it, then have to pay corn to go back down the wheel. Or if you wait till the end, that last spot or last 2 spots usually let you take any action on that gear. But if it gets bumped off, like if you go over that last one, then it comes off the gear completely and you lose any action. That happened to me one time. So you have to plan your turns really well so they all line up just the way that you want to.
Yes.
Which I thought, as we were playing, I was like, this is a Julie game because of how much planning
I did plan.
you need to do.
I did plan. And then you came and you were like, oh, and the crystal skull is 3 points. I was like, wait, what? And that is how you won the game.
So I won the game. I won the first.
I can't even. I can't.
It's funny because we were just joking the other day about which one of us, not like a sore loser, but how was it phrased? It was something like,
I don't remember.
Spend the game complaining about it, and then you win, and you're like, that was actually awesome. what were your first impressions of the game overall, aside from the fact that you lost? What stood out to you?
I can see why it was a popular game at its time, but at its core, it is a worker placement game. It's just a worker placement game with extra steps. That's what I see right now. That's why I don't know how I feel about the game, because this was the first play, and towards the end I was like, okay, I kind of am understanding how everything works together, and I'm kind of looking at it and seeing what I want to achieve. Like I want to get like a special monument and stuff, or city building, or whatever the nicer one is, the one that gives you a lot more points at the end.
Oh, the monuments?
Yeah, the monuments. And so there were little aspects that I was like, oh, this is what I want to obtain in future games. But as for a first play, that's why I'm saying it's so interesting that sometimes rating a game right out the bat after a first play of it is just, a unique take on it, because have you really explored the game? Like, did you sit down and did you really try? So that's why I can't really talk on how I particularly feel about the first round, because I feel like there may have been things that I missed, and due to missing some things, it just kind of leaves me in a yeah, that was okay
questioning. Well, let me ask you this, because I talked about at the time that it came out, this was known for being a pretty heavy game. By today's standards, what was your experience like learning it? Do you feel like it was a heavy game, or where did it land in that spectrum for you?
So yeah, I don't feel like it was a heavy game at all. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just look at it as a worker placement and kind of like time it, the gear is pretty easy to understand. Like, if it moves, this is like all the gears move in the same direction, It's not like, oh, this gear is going to move differently, so you have to like think of every single gear is going to move a different way. They all move in the same way, minus the one in the middle. And for anybody who's used to a worker placement game, you place your piece and then you gain the activity or good or action. So I don't think it's
delayed.
Yeah.
Because normally you get it right away, but this time you have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's just delayed. I feel like when you taught it to me, you teach well for people who want to know all like the iconography and what everything does and what everything means and how you do A, B, and C. I'm like, just tell me how it moves and I'll ask you when I get there. And so for this game in particular, if people are having that like analysis paralysis, or if they're overwhelmed by looking at it and or maybe what they read online, because I kind of was going in it overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a bigger game. This game was like the game during its time. And I was kind of going into it stressed. But after playing it, I'm just like, what? No, I'm good. So for anybody who's looking at it, who's all like, oh, I'm too like afraid to play it or something. No, you can play it. If you know how to do a worker placement game, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You can do it. You can go in there, you can place your cylinder, and you can take an action. I believe in you.
I think it's all, we've talked about this before, but it's all in how a game is explained. And I think a lot of times I've noticed that gamers, we do this thing where we're like, oh, this is we explain it as a heavy game, and we make it an overwhelming experience where we put that person in the headspace of, oh, I'm learning a really complicated game.
Yeah.
When really, if you just explain it in the right way, in pieces, I believe that no game out there is really too complex for anybody if you just parse it down in the right way.
Well, it's just an interesting take for you and I, because you go into games with a gamer point of view and I go into games with like a non-game. I know that now I would be considered a gamer, but in my mind, I'm still like a non-gamer. And so when I'm explaining things, I'm like, I really don't care how to win. I just want to be on the journey. Like, I just want to know how I get to the end and like how to get A, B, and C, how to move. And I personally, I have taught some people some games recently that we've played together. I've never looked at a rule book. You're like, someday you'll teach me. How
about the next game? You should be the one to teach me. Or maybe when I come to my next birthday game, our birthday last year at this point. It just surpassed my birthday, but
it did, yeah.
That's funny. You should teach me the next one.
Yes.
Well, do you enjoy the experience of teaching games?
Well, when I teach games, people seem to just understand it. Like, I don't know, because the people I have taught games don't play games.
True.
And you had came in after work and saw that they were playing it. How do you feel they played the game?
Really well.
From being taught by me.
Yeah, I didn't even ask you about that experience. I came home and you guys were playing it, so I sat down. Yeah, let's play.
Yeah, I took the game to just its bare bones. I was like, don't worry about the points. I was like, don't worry about
the points.
That's what I said. Well, see, that's how everybody gets in their head, and then they make the game more threatening for people who aren't gamers, because they're like, and this, and then you play the game and you're like, and I'm like, oh my god, like, let's just play the game. So that's how I go about teaching. It's like, I'm like, all right, this is how we do it. Like, let's just do it this way, and I'll help you through it. And then I do your whole first time experience where you make it a good experience. So like, yeah, I could shaft them, but instead I'm like, hey, just to let you know, this is going to come around to your turn, and if I did decide to do this, you would have lost lots of points.
You're going to be in a world of hurt,
but
make you feel the pain.
But I don't do that. I'm just like, well, no, I do say like, hey, just to let you know, and then I don't make them take negative points for their first game. I'm like, just know though, when you get going, I will have you take all those negative points.
If you don't do anything about this right now, this will happen.
Yeah. So, that's how I did it. And there's a few people that we're friends with who want to play games. And I think for them, my teaching style might be a good one.
Well, it's funny. I was just thinking about how I explained this to you. And I know I tend to teach when we play by explaining more than maybe I need to. Half of it is because I'm learning it myself. So I'm like when I explain it out loud, then it's clicking for me. But I realized about halfway through this game that I didn't explain to you how to even really get points in the game. Maybe a little bit, but like, I don't know, maybe it was like a quarter of the way through. I started asking myself, wait, what do you actually do to earn points in this? Like, I've been moving around these gears and collecting stuff, but I don't actually know how to win. And then we started collecting points with the crystal skulls and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I thought that was interesting that I didn't even know going in necessarily how to win the game by getting points.
So it was like even. It was like an even play. I do tend to feel bad. I know this is kind of going off a tangent about teaching the game. Should we do a separate podcast on?
No, this is
okay. Well, yeah. I do tend to feel bad because speaking of how you were like halfway through explaining, I took my phone out to like stop listening, and
that's awesome.
I know I feel bad because I do it to more than just you. Anytime somebody's explaining things to me and I already like got it, I can't keep listening, because if I do, then I don't have it and I don't know how to. It's kind of like in school when I'm like, okay, let's take the test, you know, and then some kids like, in how long do we have to take it? I'm like, stop asking questions. Like, I need to just get this on paper. It's very similar where I just have to get it on the board. Like, we have to play. You for the most part are pretty good, but I have been explained games sometimes where I tried to be polite and not take my phone out, but I just walked away to like go to the bathroom or something. And when I had gone to go to the bathroom, I came back and the person was on the same part because they had waited. And I was like, no.
We waited for you.
I know. I was like, I went to the restroom so that you would continue talking.
That's so funny. I think one thing that stood out to me this time around in this game was just how tight of a game it was. Mm-hmm. And you even mentioned the fact, so I don't know, it was maybe toward the end, we started wondering if there was a way to convert resources into other resources, because that's usually a thing in a game. If you have 2 of like gold, you could change that into wood if you needed to. And you said something to the effect of, oh, this doesn't seem like a game where they would let you do that. They would think about it and intentionally not let you do that. And so do you feel like this design right out of the gate is kind of more along the tight nature, or is it easy to do what you need to do?
I think it's a midway. I think depending on if you know what you want to do, it's easy to do what you want to do. Like, it's pretty easy to gain the materials and get where you're trying to go through that. I think if you don't know what you're trying to do and you're trying to explore, it's a forgiving game. It's not a game that's going to destroy you because you took the first move wrong, you know? So I would say
about halfway.
Yeah. The only reason I feel that it didn't allow you to convert your surplus of goods is because it's easier or less difficult to obtain more goods. So if you need said goods and it's not, almost the end of the game, you are able to get that good. While some games are like, these are the goods you have, or this is the only time you can get these goods, and that's why they allow you to convert the goods. But because this game allows you to continuously get goods depending on which ones you need, I think that's why they're like, nah, you don't need to convert them because you can get everything you need.
Or there's a way to figure out how to get what you need.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not just completely hosed. So I think you're right. It's like a good halfway point. It felt just difficult enough, but not too intense where I felt like I could completely box myself into a corner and have nothing to do.
Yeah, which is why I feel that I know it's only my first play, but if people want to try it, to do it. I'm going to teach this game to a non-gamer.
Believe in yourself.
I'm going to have them believe. Whatever non-gamer is listening out there, or if you have somebody who's a non-gamer, I know you're only halfway through this episode, or maybe a little less than half because this is a longer episode.
Oh, yeah.
But you have them reach out to me. I will teach them this game, and they will be able to play it with you.
We'll fly to you.
No, I'm not flying. I'm not doing that. I will drive to you if you're with driving. But I will teach you this game. If anybody tries to make it seem like, oh, this is like, I don't know, a harder game than it is, don't listen to them. I will teach you it. You might not win, but I'll teach you it.
I can't wait to witness that. Well, awesome. No, I'm thrilled with this one. You said, it was my second time playing. My prediction is that I think we're going to like this one. I think that there's things about it that you'll discover. This shares, I mentioned the designers in the beginning part, but Simone and Luciani, who we're diving into in this season, was a co-designer of Nucleum, which we played one time.
Yes.
And I can kind of see, they're very different games, but I can kind of see a little bit of that long-term restrictive planning kind of mindset a little bit. So it'll be interesting as we continue to play more of his games, how many of those similarities we feel carry over, because he mainly designs games with other people. So I can't wait to try more.
Yeah, let's get into our next 9 plays of this. And we return after 10 plays of the Tzolk'in Calendar. And Dave has some stats that he's going to present to you. Yeah, I would say it was a fruitful 10 plays.
It really got my gears spinning.
Oh my God. I could tell your gears were spinning because you looked at me. You're like, I'm gearing up to say something right now. I'm like, what are you about to say? And here it is. There's your pun.
You know what really grinds my gears is the fact that, who do you think won if you had to predict of the 10 games that we played?
Are you talking about like me or like the audience?
No, you.
Oh, me. Well, I knew I won.
How do you know that?
Because
that's a wild guess.
No, because the more you hesitate to play, or when you're like, oh, there's still more rounds left, or stuff like that, then I know I'm like, ooh, I'm winning. And I think you only won like twice.
Well, okay. If you had to guess, who do you think got the top score in the game?
Me.
All right. Who do you think had the highest losing score?
Highest losing score? Me.
No, me.
Oh, okay.
I still lost with the highest losing score.
Okay, what was the highest losing score?
71 points.
Oh, okay.
Average winning score was 87.6. The lowest winning score, 62. That
was like
I'm getting
the
a lot
first
of
round,
my lowest losing. And then the lowest score of all
was me, right?
It was me with 28 points.
I thought I got 23 points for some reason.
Average play time, 45 minutes.
Okay.
We got that down to like 36 minutes.
Yeah, the last play was like 30, right? Or like 35 or something like that?
36 minutes.
Okay.
But it felt like a pretty snappy game. But let's talk about our whole journey through 10 plays of Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. Where did you start? Where did you end up? What were some highs, lows? All of that stuff.
So I can see how people can be frustrated with this game, because when I was watching you and listening to your comments, which I'm sure you'll get into by yourself, but I didn't quite understand where you were coming from. Then the more we played, I realized, oh, okay, I see what he's saying. And I see how some other people may feel the same way. And I totally get that, because towards the end, I don't know, do you want me to give away my strategy? You want me to tell you?
Well, yeah, let's talk through your whole discovery. Like, I loved when you did that with Aquasphere. It was fun to hear.
I was like super excited about Aquasphere. I mean, I like Tzolk'in too, but I don't know, Aquasphere was a whole nother level for me. But
we can kick it up a notch with this one.
Oh my goodness. You're like, another round, another check of the gear or something. I don't know. I'm not good at puns. But for this game, as I was playing, I had played it, which I think is just like the normal strategy where you put your pieces out, you pay the corn, you move on, and you move through all of the gears until the game's over. Well, I started to notice, what am I doing putting all my pieces out on the board in that first little notch of the gear? Because if I do that, then I'm forced to pick a piece off of the board, because I only start with 3 pieces like everybody else, unless you have a special. Is there? Yeah, there's one that has where you can start with 4, right? That little.
There is, and that's the only benefit of that tile.
So unless you have that, you can't lay a piece down because you already laid them out your first round, which implies you now have to take a piece off. So I recognize that as a disadvantage. So not only are you using / wasting your goods being corn to put all of your people down on gears, you're also wasting turns for low stake, I don't know, grabs, at least in my point of view. So what I did was I would put 1 or 2 down during the first turn, depending on who was first player and depending on where you placed yours. If I was first player, then I would kind of decide that way. And then I would wait for the second turn of the gear to either grab or place down my third at that point, because then that would be for free since I'm only placing 1 and I wouldn't have to waste any more of my corn. And then I would move on, so forth.
That's interesting, though, because I felt like I was being really inefficient whenever I would just either place or pick up 1 worker. I don't know if you felt that way, too. Like, what you're describing sounds like you cascaded it a little bit. You would put a couple out, move up, then place another one. But I found that there were plays of this game where when that happened to me, it's usually when I couldn't pay for the workers that I had. So let's say I had 4 workers or 5 workers or what have you. In order to place workers out on the board, you need a good supply of corn, because the more you place, the more expensive incrementally it gets per worker that you place out. Mm-hmm. So there were rounds of the game where I could literally only afford to place 1 worker at a time. And then maybe I would have 1 turn where I'd pull back a whole bunch. Or maybe I would pull back 1 or 2 because I really needed 2 more notches on another gear to be able to get that cooler benefit. And those quarter of the year segments in between feedings go fast when you don't do much. Sometimes it would take me 5 turns to do anything, and then it's another feeding, and I'm like, I just finally got to the point of being able to do something cool, but I have to spend all this corn now to pay for my workers, and then I'm starting again from scratch. If you're not careful, you can have very slow moving games of this, which happened to me a few times.
Well, that's why it's like a juggling game. Like, you have to juggle your workers depending on what you want to do. And so obviously, you know my play style for all 10 games. I placed one of my workers down on the gear, the like skull gear or whatever. I don't know what it's called.
The Chichen Itza gear?
Yeah.
You love that one.
So I would place it. Literally, that would be one of my first moves.
Usually your opener, honestly.
And I would save 2 workers for later. And then I would play a majority of the game with 2 workers. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, that's really restrictive. You probably like got low points or what have you. But I'm like, no, I got over 100 points.
With just 3 workers the whole game?
3 workers.
Wow. That is incredible.
I just use them very effectively. But that's what I mean. Like, you have to realize, like, oh, I don't have to place all of them at once because you're wasting goods. And at the end of the quarters, you have to feed your workers. So why waste goods to place them all at the same time when you could place them more strategically?
True.
Yeah.
I will say that I felt like this is a game I'm not good at. There were a few rounds of it that I've felt like, yeah, everything is humming along and I'm doing a decent job and I feel like I'm working towards something. And then the others, I would get to the end of it and think, what the heck did I even do in this game? I didn't really do anything.
Well, wasn't there that
like
one
the hamster wheel spinning round and round.
Wasn't there that one that you couldn't feed your people and you had to lose? But you got negative. You started in negative, right? Or I started in negative, and I still won that one.
You still won somehow.
Yes.
It was tough because I don't know. Something about it is counterintuitive. I know it's easy. You look at the board. Every single action you can take is relatively simple. You're either getting resources or you're trading them for something else. You're dropping off crystal skulls. You're moving up tracks. It's pretty standard types of actions. But in order to do in order to do anything, i.e. get points, there's only 3 things you can really do. It's crystal skulls on the Tascini track. It's moving up the 3 temple tracks.
Yes.
And monuments. Am I missing something? I think that
you can get it from the ones under the monuments.
The buildings.
Yeah, you can get
like
points
a few
for
points
the buildings.
here and there.
Mm-hmm. But the few points add up because the ones that usually give points allow you to move up the monuments or whatever those are.
True, and then that gives you more points too.
Yeah, exactly. And
so
then if you're ahead of the person, you get the bonus points.
Yeah. But if you're not doing one of those things, if you're not focusing on doing that or working toward doing one of those things, you're really doing nothing in the game. You're just collecting corn and then spending corn. Collecting, spending. That's it. And there were games of this where I try to get a lot of workers, which is usually my strategy in worker placement. Get more workers, take more actions. But then I realized, you actually have to pay for your actions. You have to pay
so much.
So I'd have 6 workers and not really be doing anything with them.
And that's 12 corn.
12 corn. But what am I doing with my life? What am I doing?
Doing with my life. It's
doing nothing.
I feel like it's a very mathematical game.
How so?
Because I would always count. So I would count the notches and I would count how many times it would have to spin before I got what I wanted, and that's how I would decide when to hold and when to place and when to pick up, I guess. So it was a lot of counting and trying to figure out how to move my pieces up further, faster. And that's why I would always start with having my first one be on the crystal skull, because it takes like 15. Okay, it's not 15, but I think it's like 7, or what is that, like 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 or 11 notches to get to the 13 point.
And the Chichen Itza to drop off the. You always got that spot too, that final spot.
It's at least 2 quarters. I believe.
It is. That's a huge investment.
Right, but that's why I would always lay that first, because I knew it would take a majority of the game to get to that big point one, and then from there I would build, and that's what I would do every single time. But I think...
Did it feel good, satisfying when you place that skull out on the board?
Yeah. I think
I worked for this.
I did. But that's how I would work with 2. So I would have one weight on that, and then I would have the other 2 kind of work the goods one. So not the corn and wood one, but the corn, wood, metal, skull one. Does that one have a name?
The corn woods. I don't remember the name of it, but that's where you get the goods. You get the stuff.
The good one. And so I would work that one with the 2 remaining ones to where I would kind of have one sit there until I got to the skull. And then I would work the other one either there or by the corn or the building one. And that's how I went about my strategy. I was like, I really don't need another piece because it would cost me more goods. And if I can get what I want done with fewer pieces, I'm wasting more goods on feeding them. So I could work more effectively. I don't know. It's like that pipeline where you're finding where the bottleneck is. And I think the bottleneck is
the pipeline?
Yeah. Like where you have like this little conveyor belt going and then it starts bottlenecking because you're like, oh, now I have to feed all these people, Is
that a game?
What? No. Have you never worked like a conveyor belt job before where you all have like a task?
I've never worked in a conveyor belt factory.
You've never? Okay. Well, sometimes there's somebody slow at the task.
Have you worked in a factory with a conveyor belt?
Yes. I'm not going to say what age, but yes.
Whatever state you used to live in.
But you would go, and if somebody was slow, everything would get like pushed back. And that's how I feel. There's distractions on the board where you're like, oh, I feel like I need to get all of these for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then you get all of those, but it's unnecessary to the conveyor belt of just keeping everything run smoothly.
Wow. That's your whole thought process. Your brain is like a machine. That's really what it is. It's the Tzolk'in The Mayan calendar represents your brain. You know, your brain has all these interlocking gears, and it's just everything just clicks right into place. And in order to have your ideas come to fruition, they all have to line up just right for the right moment. And you're all about patience. I think this game represents your personality too, because you're such a patient person. You're willing to make those investments and wait. I, on the other hand, like those really short-term gains.
I know.
I want to place up my workers, do one notch, and then pull them right back. And you're like, nope, turn one, I'm going to do the most long-term investment in the game and place it out on that gear that will do nothing until I take it back. And all it's doing is giving me points, and then you get to move up the track. But I like that concept that everything in this game is a trade-off, because if you're letting your workers sit out on the board, you're not doing anything, but you'll get a better return when you pull them back. But those turns that you're leaving them out there, you're not able to place them. So it's like, is it where you have to calculate in your head, what is an action of placing the workers out worth in terms of points? Because you're losing that. It's like the opportunity cost. You know, is it worth the return on investment leaving it out there? And for you, you found that it was.
It was.
I could just never quite make it happen the way that I wanted, because the strategy that I tried to go for several times that I could never pull off was find a way to not have to pay corn, and then find a way to get a lot of corn, and then that gear, the yellow gear where you get the extra worker, there's stuff you can do with corn on there. So I saw that right away. I was like, I'm going to do all that stuff, but I can never pull it off, because right when I would get to the point of being able to do something, there was something else I needed to do. Like, I really want to get a building that reduces my corn cost, but I don't have enough resources. I need to put a worker out on the gear to get the resource. Oh, that gives me 1 wood. I need 2 wood. Okay, so I need to move up a track to get 2 wood. We're coming to the end of a quarter. I need to pay for corn. I need to pay corn for my workers. So I need to make sure I have a worker out on the corn track. Oh, you placed it there and blocked me. I have to pay an extra one. Now I'm not going to have enough corn to feed my workers. Like,
I think that's what happened with now that you're saying that, when I was watching you, I think that's exactly what happened. You were using your resources to do other things while I did my very patient thing, but then I would use my resources to buy the buildings that allowed me to not have to feed my workers.
You got those every time.
Yeah, because that's what I did. That's how I built within the first quarter. That was my only goal. Within Q1, it was to feed my workers. And then Q2, I was like, okay, now I'm going to start planting points. Q3 was gathering points. Q4 was take it home.
Wow, and you took it home. You took it home good. That's for sure. So what do you think? This game really got me thinking. There's a lot of interesting things going on, but one thing that you'll notice is there's not much variability in setup. Sure, you get different monuments out and buildings and everything, but how much do you feel like there is to explore in the game? And do you think that you've gotten to that point where you've explored all the different strategies that can be explored?
I did explore different things, and I feel like I just always reverted back to the one that I initially did. There were aspects that I did change throughout the 10 rounds that we played. The first one was I was more in that exploring realm, right? So I didn't really go for the crystal skull wheel at that time. I just kind of did what you were doing, and I got, I don't know, like 60 points. It was a pretty low scoring game for me. And so after that, I was just like, what am I doing that isn't efficient? And it was, I first noticed, it's these beginning tiles. I'm picking the ones that give high goods instead of the ones that help me throughout the entire game, because there would be tiles that allowed you to move up on that track that would give you like extra wood or extra corn. And I was like, I need to start picking those if I randomly draw those. And then there was ones that allowed you to start with certain goods like wood, metal, or gold. And I was like, those are the ones I need to start with, because now I don't have to go on that wheel right away. I can kind of choose to do something else. And then there was the other one where it allowed you to feed your workers right away. I was like, this one. Even though you would start with way less corn, I was just like, this will help me throughout the whole game. I noticed that you were like, oh, look, I'm starting with 16 corn.
A crystal skull.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you're falling for the trap. You need to look at the ones that'll help you throughout the entire game. And that's something that I took away and learned. And then from there, kind of fine-tuned everything.
So do you feel like you...
Yes, I feel like I explored most items. Like, because after that 10th play, I didn't feel that I would change what I've been doing.
So you've kind of determined your go-to strategy in the game.
Yeah.
So do you think that if we continued playing the game, it would still feel fresh and fun? Or do you think it would get to the point of feeling stagnant where, okay, we're good on this. You know, we've done what there is to do. We've seen what there is to see. What do you think?
I feel like it would get stagnant.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is that is a common criticism of the game, is that once you fall into a strategy, it kind of starts to feel scripted. Like your turns, you're going to do the same thing every single game once you've figured that out. And people have their go-to strategies in the game.
Ooh, love that.
So it sounds like you found yours. One thing I will say that I thought was interesting too was the fact that I would be curious with 3 or 4 players how that would feel, because in a 2-player game, there's these dummy pieces that you put on the board that block the spaces up. And you would think, the more players that you have, the tougher it is to do what you want to do. But I actually discovered while we were playing that it's in your benefit sometimes to have spaces clogged up, because then you can go further up the track if you have the right amount of corn, which lets you do cooler actions faster. So you actually want those spaces to fill in, and sometimes it's like, oh, I have to place this onto 0, and it's kind of a waste because you have to wait 3 or 4 turns to do anything cool.
Yeah, that's why you wait your first turn to see what everybody else does, because then by the next notch, usually you can jump ahead.
You can.
And that's why you save your corn.
So I wonder if it would be... I don't think the game would feel much different, but there might be new, like different kinds of opportunities that open up with more players. Whereas in a 2-player game, the dummy pieces out there serve their purpose, but they never change. So you can kind of like map it out.
And they stay on the same wheel.
It would be kind of cool to play it in an unpredictable setting where pieces are moving around a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like you would get higher scoring games that way too.
Probably. But I will say there is an expansion for this. that adds some variability and stuff. And I would be curious, since this game with 10 plays, I kind of feel like, all right, we've mapped everything out. I'm still not good at it, but you're really good at it. Uh-huh. Would an expansion kind of make that feel more fresh?
More even.
Well, more even. Mm-hmm. That's the funny thing, is I don't know that I feel like
that's what happened.
It needs to be more challenging, because it's already pretty challenging.
Oh no, that's what happened with the Stefan Feld game that we played recently.
Bonfire?
Yeah, where I was really good at it, and then you added the expansion, and
I was amazing, and then it did even it out. So this one, I got the expansion with the base game when I picked it up a long time ago, and I've never played with it before. So I thought, why don't we go try it out? We'll play it like at least a few times, see what it has to offer, and then come back and give a final verdict on Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. What do you think? Are you up for it?
Yeah, I think it's a good chance for you. Yeah.
That was a unique way of phrasing it.
And we are back after playing some of Tribes and Prophecies, which is the expansion for Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. And we had decided to do the expansion a little differently. So if you listen to these in like order from how we release them, so like, 1 and then 2.
You're going to go through every number?
No, because this is only number 3. So I'm not going to go through every number.
Oh, in this list, I think you meant every game we've ever played. From the very beginning, starting with Azul, and then Dominion, and then whatever came out. Was it called? No, after Dominion.
It's like, sit back, pick your favorite snack, and I'm going to read to you in a monotone voice. No, I mean season 5. So if you had listened to the first episode and the second episode prior to getting to this one's a little different, because in the prior 2, we kind of played every scenario or every offering that the expansion had. But for this one, we looked through the new, what are they?
The special powers.
Yeah, the special powers. And we just picked ones that we liked. And I found 2 that I liked. One, obviously, to punish myself. And the first one to maybe give me a slight upper hand.
Some of them don't seem fun.
No.
But maybe we can start with just explaining what the expansion is. and what it adds to the game.
Yeah.
And then we talk about our experience with the expansion and now our overall final
feelings about the game.
Thoughts about the game. So
take it away, Dave.
Tribes and Prophecies has a few things to it. I'll start with the least exciting, which is as a 5th player. I've never used, anytime an expansion as a player, I've never used that before. It's just, I see it as it gives you an extra color to play with. Don't remember what the color is, but hey, if you want to play Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar with 5 players, now you're covered. And then it has the quick actions. So this is probably maybe the least complex of the bunch. So the quick actions adds a component to the board where now you can go onto a spot and then get a thing, like a kind of resource, or you can pay corn to build a building or move up a track, or there's different things you can do, but it costs 1 corn to go there, and then you take the action. So there are these little tile pieces that cover the calendar, and when the teeth get to the next tile, you replace the one that was on the board. It sounds complex, but it just gives you a spot to get something. And then you get your worker back at the end of that round right away. So that's why it's called a quick action.
Yeah, it's like a rotating tile. Rotating event of some sort.
Exactly. And you get the thing on the same turn that you place it rather than having to wait. So quick action. Then there's the Prophecies. I think that's what it's called, the Prophecies module. So this adds 3 tiles where it, at certain points in the game, in certain quarters of this calendar year, there will be something that will make it harder for you to do something you would normally do, like move up a certain track or gather corn or what have you. It will usually make that benefit less or make you pay something extra whenever you do that particular action. But then at the end of that next feeding round, you'll get points for having stuff of that category that it's evaluating. So it's more expensive to do that thing, but then you're going to get a lot of points. And if you plan ahead, you can know which ones are coming up in the calendar year, and you can kind of plan for that. So there's that one. And then the one you kind of already alluded to was the special abilities module that has a whole, there's like 13 of them, or 14, I think, 13 different special powers that you can play with. And most of them just give you a benefit, but then some of them give you a punishment for gaining that benefit as well.
Yes.
So let's start with the quick action module. What did you think of the quick actions?
I thought some of them were okay, and I thought some of them were helpful. And that's because some of the quick actions would contain something from one of the gears that would take longer to get. So you could just go on the quick action, spend a corn, and be able to use that benefit instead of waiting like 5 rotations of the gear to get there. So I thought that was pretty neat. But I would say for the majority of the game, I personally did not use the quick actions.
I used it like twice.
Yeah, I would say that's the same for me, like maybe 2 or 3 times.
And I think the reason I didn't use them much is the benefits were never that exciting. It was like gain a stone or gain 3 corn.
Or it would be, gain like a corn and a wood, but you would have to spend a corn. So it was just evening out the corn. Yeah.
Yeah, the action spot costs a corn. So you're just trading a corn for something. And so they were okay, but that was probably perhaps the least exciting of the 3 modules. So that's why I started with that one.
Oh, I see.
I could take it or leave it. I honestly would probably rather leave it because it adds a component of needing to, when you turn the dial, you have to then replace the tile. And I'm like doing this upkeep for something I know I'm probably not even going to use. Mm-hmm. So that's how I felt about that. And then we move on to the Prophecies. What did you think of the Prophecies?
I liked them because they kind of gave you like a guideline on what you should do for that whole little quarter. But at the same time, I didn't like them because they gave you a guideline on what you were expected to do for that. You're like, what? And I'm like,
it made it harder for you to do that?
Exactly. Because sometimes it would be things that I naturally did. So I enjoyed them because I knew I was going to get points at the end. And other times they would be 100% things that I usually don't do in my play style. So I had to kind of be fluid in what I was doing and switch it up to hopefully stay away from negative points.
Well, the thing is, though, that you always have 2 quarters to really plan for the next one, because you don't evaluate one of those until the end of, I guess it would be the second feeding. The second feeding. It goes into effect from the first feeding.
Right.
but then you don't get the points until the end of the second feeding.
Yes.
So if that first quarter, you can start doing the stuff that will get you points for that. And then when you're on the second quarter, you can start doing for the next one. If you're a planner, if you're a strategic thinker, maybe some of us are more strategic than.
I like that you pointed to yourself. You're like, maybe some of us. I'm like, interesting.
No, but I thought it was cool. I always like, and maybe it's just because I'm not necessarily good at looking at a game like this and planning a strategy without having something to nudge me in the right direction. Like, I think I struggled with this game because there's just so much random stuff that you can do, but none of it really does anything unless you're moving up the tracks, getting the skulls, or gaining the monuments. Mm-hmm. So this gave me a little bit of something like, oh, maybe I'm going to try to move this track so I can get 13 points if I get to the 4th level. So I wouldn't say it necessarily changed the feel of the game. It just gave you different things that you can focus on and new ways to score points. So would you normally, if we played this again, would you want to keep this module or just say we're good without it?
I'm okay. I could do like rock, paper, scissors on it, or I can flip a coin. And then if the coin was like, you're keeping it, I'd be okay. If it said, nah, you're not keeping it, I'd be okay. That's how I feel about it. Either way, I would
pretty neutral.
Yeah, I'm very neutral about it. I don't think it really necessarily adds to the game, but I also don't think it takes away anything because the game seems to be pretty, it could be both. It could be, you can kind of choose how restrictive you want it to be. You can choose intense restrictive by having 6 workers and having to make sure that you're paying for food for them if some of the feeding cards don't come up, like the automatic feeds. Or you can choose to play it easy with like 3. Like, I don't know. It's just 50-50 to me. I don't necessarily, like, if we didn't play the expansion, I don't feel like I would have the FOMO.
Wait, are you talking about the expansion in general or just the prophecies?
Oh, you're just talking about the prophecies?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were just getting my overview.
Whoa, spoiler alert with your
spoiler alert, it's 50-50.
Well, what did you think about the special powers?
Yes.
A few of them look cool, or were cool.
Yeah, like that one that you had where it costs less corn to place a worker. I thought that one was cool.
Yeah, it had a different
number.
Yeah, different guidelines that for placing workers out, it costs less. And then there was another one I played with that cost less to move up the tracks, the technology tracks. And then when you got to the end of one, when you move up to the 4th level, you can choose any of that tier 4 bonus from any of the columns. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then some of them were okay. I looked at them and I was like, I'm good on this one.
I liked mine because the first one that I used, I was like, ooh, this one's going to be easy. And then the next one I used, I was like, ooh, I'm going to challenge myself. So I kind of did both. The first one I had was that you could use an extra starting tile. So usually you can only pick 2, but this one allowed you to start with 3. I forgot what the consequence was, but obviously.
Maybe there wasn't.
No, there was. It was like lose 3 points in the beginning. Oh, that's what it was. You had to go down on the like god tiers, like the temples.
Oh, okay.
You had to pick one to go backwards on.
I don't know.
That one wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So there was that one, and then the one that we had just played with was Yaluk, or it's Yaluk. I'm not 100% sure on how to pronounce that, but this one allows you to start with 5 workers, but each worker now costs 3 corn, and if you can't feed them, you lose 5 points per worker instead of 3.
That's crazy.
So I did start the game negative after the first feeding, but from there, once you're at your bottom, the only way, the direction you can go is up. So that's what happened.
I don't know. This is Bonfire. We had the special powers too.
Yes.
And I used to be a huge fan of the idea of an expansion that gives you unique asymmetrical player powers. I think I'm just finding that, I don't know, it's not as always as exciting as you would hope.
Okay.
Some of them, like, you always wonder, are these really balanced?
Well, I don't know. I feel like for this expansion, it was quite interesting because with every positive came a negative. So I personally really appreciated that. I feel like in a way it balanced it out. Maybe not player to player, but player to self. So, you chose this good one, but now there's consequences that you have that you have to play the game with, and you have to keep that in mind. And so I thought that was a cool aspect.
This is the path you chose.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it really resonated with me. It was just like, ooh, yes, you can have this, but just know.
Feel the pain.
Yeah.
So now that we've played with the expansion, where are you at with Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar?
I think I'm good. I honestly think I'm good. So I think it's a fun game, but as for replayability wise, I think I'm pretty set on it. After playing it 12 times, I do feel that the movements felt slightly stale, and just kind of what I was going for was exactly the same thing. The only thing that was different was the temples that came out, but that really didn't affect my gameplay.
It didn't make the game feel super different.
Right.
I think a good tell of how much fun we're continuing to have a game is when we keep asking, wait, how many plays more of this do we have? And right away we started playing with the expansion, and I was thinking, I don't know if I'm just a sore loser, but this game isn't feeling super exciting to me because I still can't do super well. I can't find a good strategy, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like you just kind of feel like you're churning through the motions of the game and doing a few random things, getting some points. And maybe this wasn't interactive enough for me. I can't quite pinpoint what it is. I was thinking about, you and I went for an evening walk the other day. We're talking about Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar as we were walking.
Wow, what a great evening walk.
And resource management came up. And I was saying to you that games that have, how did I phrase it? Arbitrary resource management.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the difference. I know we talk a lot about Agricola and Le Havre are two of our favorite resource management games. And here's the difference between how those games feel versus Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar and other resource management games I've played. So in Agricola and Le Havre, you choose resources to go after, but those resources serve a very specific purpose.
Right.
Like, wood is going to let you build fences, or in Le Havre, fish is going to let you feed your worker, or you can use steel to build ships and
luxury liners.
Yeah, the luxury liners. So there's purposes that each when you collect a resource what you can use it for.
Yes.
In games like this, you collect a lot of random resources, but they don't really mean anything. Because you look at the monuments or the buildings and it's like, oh, that requires 2 wood, 1 stone, 1 gold. Okay, cool. I just happen to have that. But I'm not necessarily collecting gold for a specific reason, even though it's technically a more valuable resource. And I guess if you look at the yellow gear, you can convert goods into corn, and those are worth more. So I guess there might be strategies in there for I'm going to go after a certain kind of resource and then cash that in for stuff. But it's just kind of like, it doesn't feel as like exciting to me when I gather resources and I don't have an immediate action or something I'm going to use it for in my head. That's kind of how I felt with the resource management in Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. Yeah,
because Le Havre's a good example with that resource management that you were saying, where you start with like fish and you're like, oh, well, now I can use fish to smoke the fish.
Yes.
And now it's worth this much food. And on top of it being food, I also get to sell it. And selling it, I get points at the end. Mm-hmm. So I think it would kind of be a cool concept if there was some type of trading involved, just to be thematically correct. And you could trade a certain amount of goods and then you get points throughout the game. Just a little additive. I'm not sure how that would really go into the whole gear aspect. Maybe one of those, instead of having like the temples, you could like trade, and then it's like, oh, well, now one of your people are fed or something because you traded this, and to get back and you get this. I don't know. We'd have to look into it more, but
yeah. So I think overall I can really appreciate the game design of Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar. And thinking back to the time 2012, this comes out, I would say this was a very novel concept for the time. And it still isn't like, the physical gears moving on the table and putting a worker out and deciding how long you want to leave it out before you pull it back. I think that's a cool decision.
It teaches patience.
Yes. And I love that time investment aspect. It's just the rewards that you get aren't always that exciting, and the stuff that you're trying to chase doesn't feel super exciting to me. So I think where I'm at with Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar is it was fun. I'm kind of good on it. If somebody wanted to play with us, I would be like, that's chill. Let's play it. But I think keeping it in our collection, I I'm okay, I think, parting ways with Tzolk'in at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm okay too.
So that answers the question. Is it a keep it to play or trade it away? And
It's a trade it away.
Thank you for the journey.
Thank you for the journey.
And maybe we'll see each other someday.
Oh my God. Here you sound so sad.
But yeah, thank you for taking the journey with me into this, starting with Indiana Jones.
Wait, are you trying to go away right now? You got to give final stats.
We're going to go through that. Okay, I was
you
trying
have
to get away
to,
from
yes.
it.
I know you were trying to get rid of it.
With the Indiana Jones adventure, Disneyland, Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar, it's been...
Okay, no. I feel like Indiana Jones is more in line with Arnak.
True. I would agree with that.
I feel like it's very
I didn't
Arnak.
get adventure with this one at all. I won 3.
I like that you...
You won 9. So you won 75% of the time.
Yes.
Makes me really depressed. And then you, let's look here. Your average score was 85.92. Mine was 57.08. Your best was 105. Mine was 84. So my best was worse than your average.
Wait, what was my average again?
85.92.
Nice.
And my best was 84.
I looked it up, and supposedly getting above 80 is competitive. So I guess.
Okay, well, you're competitive.
I'm competitive.
You're very good at this game.
I'm just very competitive.
And then our final, we played a couple more times. The average play time is still 45 minutes. Pretty quick moving game. We had some 35-minute games in there.
I was going to say, we had a really short one 2 days ago. It was 30 minutes or something?
35.
Okay. So 10 minutes, 10 minutes off.
So that's...
Yeah, that's that.
That's that.
That's that. So thank you so much for listening to us. We truly appreciate it. And we would love to hear from you. So if maybe you played Tzolk'in The Mayan Calendar and you kind of want to give us your point of view on how you learned it, or if it's something that you still love, feel free to message us on Instagram. Our Instagram is thedicejesters, or you can even email us. Our email is thedicejesters@gmail.com. So we are no longer on Patreon. If you're new and you've just been chugging through and listening to everything, you may have heard me mention Patreon in the past. We are away from Patreon just because we feel like we couldn't supply a wonderful amount of background content, just because it's literally just us buying a board game, playing board games, or me talking to crows. And so here we are. But if you wanted to support us in any way, we do have a little Huzzah the Tipper on our bio site. And if you do that and you could put your name, it would be Huzzah, insert name. So if your name's Dave, it'd be Huzzah Dave the Tipper. So if you'd like that, if you want that, you don't have to. It's up to you, free will. And
free will.
I know I need to practice free will a little bit more, but thank you again so much for listening to us. And as always, you know what? Actually, if you listen this long, I appreciate you, because I feel this, the last minute of the shows are a little bit of our personality, and it's straight gold. I think it's gold.
When I'm editing, when I get to this part and I hear you say something that makes me laugh. Or you'll start talking about fish or something weird, animals.
Oh my God, you know what? If you listen to the end of this episode, I am not kidding. If you listen this far,
here's a free story.
Go to Instagram. Just send me a beta fish. There's a beta fish emoji. If you go into your text messages or whatever, send me a beta fish and I will send you free stickers.
By the time we release this, are you going to remember? I don't know what this is going to come out.
I'm going to get so many beta fish.
We're recording pretty far ahead.
No, that doesn't matter. I want these random beta fish. Do it. And then I will send you stickers through the mail.
Wow,
so send me a beta
fish,
and then I will send you some Dicechester stickers that I have made. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it. Okay. So as always, play games with the ones you love. Bye.